So, it's been a while since our last session. When we left off, the party had been flying with the white dragon and was ambushed by a group of silver dragons. The white dragon flew away and launched a couple of players at a tailing silver dragon. And in the meantime, Tempus decided it was best to attack his would-be rescuers, and so is plummeting to his doom.
Sounds right.
I had been caught by a dragon, but I'm still unconscious, right?
Well, technically, you should have been awake.
Yeah, you're conscious.
Alright.
Just you, the player, weren't conscious.
Yes, cloud the issue with facts.
So basically, from what Ysmyr could see, Katira's caught, Tempus is avoiding all help, right? And we don't know about the other two.
Yeah, it was kind of a mess over there, so you probably haven't had a chance to really see what's been going on with Rhodes and Yaereene. You are currently, with your wings out, kind of drifting along, I believe, or had you gotten on Dragonback?
I had gotten on Dragonback at the time, anyway.
Okay. So it is your turn in the combat tracker right now. And so from Dragonback, you can see that Tempus is continuing to pinwheel down towards the ground, dropping it 500 feet around.
Okay. Just looking at options quickly.
Is he hundreds of feet from me?
Probably. Yeah, I think he's probably 500 feet below you right now. Dragon dove down to get you, and plucked you out of the sky. And Tempus refused to be saved, so he's further down.
Okay, this is a question for, I guess it would be Jesse. Maybe an insight, I don't know. Seeing Tempest, can Ysmyr judge if he'd lash out at her if she got close?
I mean, if you want to roll an insight, we can let Ryan base the DC on how likely you are to get insight into his current attitude. I'd be perfectly okay with you rolling against me if Ryan wants me to do a charisma check and you want to do a sense motive.
Yeah, could we do that?
Sure.
Perfect.
All right. So is Tempest going to lash out at Ysmyr if she dives down to try to save him?
Well, he probably wouldn't lash out at her as much as the dragon, but he isn't going to let her grab him and try to save him, I think is a fair way to put that.
Okay. Well, with that in mind, Ysmyr's going to take a risk, and she is actually going to jump off the dragon that had caught her. Like, she'll give it a quick pat like she's doing something, and then hop off and dive down to get in range of Tempus. And if she can, she's just going to set a hand on his, because he was using his halberd, she's going to set a hand on his halberd just to be like, hey, I'm here, and just flare her wings enough to, like, make sure they're not both pinwheeling, if anything. And just be like, what are you doing?
This is for the best, Ysmyr. Let me go.
Are you trying to die?
I mean, I suppose so.
If you die, who protects Yaereene?
You do.
The only thing protecting her right now is your deal.
That's not true. She has the rest of you. I'm a liability.
We can't keep the gods off of her. You did.
Ysmyr, do you really want to save me? After everything that I've done, after everything that happened to you, it was my fault.
Ysmyr's just going to set her other hand on the halberd and, like, flare her wings more to slow him down. Don't be an idiot. I did that for everyone. Now, I need you because I can't protect Yaereene. You are.
Fine. I surrender. Do what you want with me, and bear the consequences of it. And Tempus will release his hold on the halberd.
Well, that leaves Ysmyr holding the halberd and Tempest just floating, I guess. unless he lets her grab him.
Well, now he doesn't have the means to strike out at you.
Okay, then she's gonna try and grab him and at least try and glide us until dragons can catch us.
She gets within my reach and I strike out at her. Just kidding. He'll let her grab him.
Okay, so you guys hold on to each other. I'll drop us out of combat now. And one of the larger dragons does swoop down and take you both on its back.
Did Ysmyr keep hold of my halberd?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're not getting it back for a little while, though.
What? It's mine.
You hit another dragon with it.
Uh-huh. As far as Tempus is concerned, all dragons have a lot to learn about consent.
So the dragons are keeping a close eye on Tempus as they take you guys down to the forest below. None of them appear to be terribly interested in discussing things with you at the moment. But if you guys want to yell at each other over your ridiculousness, feel free.
I appreciate you made that offer, Ryan. I'm going to pass, but it's good you know us.
I think for the most part, Ysmyr is just going to be like, we're going to figure something out to Tempus, but we need you to give us the chance to do it.
I've already surrendered. Do what you like with me.
Yeah, she's not going to have much to add to that right now, because it's just like, nope.
Okay, so it takes a while, but you guys do eventually drift down to the ground, where the silver dragons put you down in a circle together, and they are basically surrounding you guys.
Hey, I think when we're set down, just for the time being, Ysmyr is going to polymorph back into her usual appearance, just for the rest of the group's sake.
I'm going to sidle up to Ysmyr because I'm nervous. Except for I don't appear to be present.
You don't see the token for Yaereene?
I didn't. I was too zoomed in.
Okay.
Okay, while we're surrounded, can Ysmyr look around and just take a look at the dragons, figure out what we're dealing with?
Certainly. You look at the silver dragons, and you do recognize one of them as your mother.
Okay. So that's the one she turns to, and it's just like, this is very unexpected. I'm assuming there are some questions, but for now, the help is appreciated.
And before you, she transforms into a humanoid form.
Ooh, she can do it too.
And she says, Ysmyr Yggdrasil, is that you?
Yes, it is. Hello, Mother. Well, I'm a little confused. What are you? Weren't you south?
Indeed I was, as were we all, until the south became rather dangerous.
Right. Undead?
Yes, quite a few entered the mountain where I lived, and they were dealt with, and we left the area.
Well, good to see that you're well and safe, and yeah, sorry, I'm just surprised.
As am I. What were you doing in the company of that white dragon?
We were heading north, and we had encountered him before, but managed to part ways, but then he caught up with us and made an offer to fly us to Thessalora. We had something he wanted.
And that was?
One of my friends here had a wand he wanted. That was the price for the ride.
I see. Very well. Would you appreciate us escorting you the rest of the way to ensure that the white dragon does not come back?
I'm going to ask, is this in Draconic or common?
Common.
Okay. Well, with that, Ysmyr will look at the others and just be like, are you fine with this?
It may not be my place to speak, but I can think of 2 things that might be a better use of your family's time.
And that is?
Rushing to the relief of Nordgard and hunting down Reshzamanaz.
Well, I will leave that up to them. The rest of you, are you all right with continuing working with some dragons?
Aye, that'd be lovely.
Do they all go back and forth?
You mean shapeshift?
Uh-huh.
The littlest one says, "I can't yet."
So it talks in dragon form?
Yep.
Yaereene jumps about 3 feet.
Okay. Well, how about this? We would greatly appreciate the assistance getting north, and it gives us some time to talk, and maybe you and the others can decide what you want to do from there. You said you came north due to the issues in the south. Unfortunately, the issues are slowly moving north, so take that as you will, and we can talk more about it. But if it helps, I should do some introductions. Everyone, this is my mother, Madhir Narleth, and Mother, these are my friends, Katia, Rhodes, Yaereene, and Tempus.
I bow, do a flourish on my panpipes, and then shut up.
Yaereene will give the smallest of nods, not saying anything.
Rhodes will also effect a deep bow and thanks them for saving their lives.
Tempus will just sit quietly in the snow, keeping his eyes down.
A strange group of companions you surrounded yourself here, daughter. But if they are true, then we would be happy to escort you. I hear this orc's words of problems in Nordgard, but that is a long way from here. Certainly it would be closer and faster to help you get to Thessalora.
Then let's continue that way, and afterwards, if you feel there's something that you can do, then we can worry about it. But for the time being, Thessalora is our personal target.
Before we leave, Tempus will look up and ask, if the lair of Reshzamanaz and its location is of interest to the White Dragons. Excuse me, to the Silver Dragons.
Yeah. They don't see a threat from a single white dragon, but knowing the location of the lairs of potential enemies is worth knowing, just in case they do enter his realm at some point.
Okay, so then I will call upon my class background, my feature, which is Wanderer, posting. I have an excellent memory for maps and geography and can always recall the general layout of terrain, settlements, and other features around me, so I think Tempus can basically tell them whereabouts they might find the lair, give a general description of it, tell them what the inside of it is, and just generally highlight where it is, as well as saying meaningfully that based on what Reshzamanaz said, he likely has several young currently in the lair. And treasure.
Okay. Well, they appreciate you giving them such detailed information, and if time permits, they may head down there to investigate. But hearing that there were minions of the undead down to the southeast, they don't appear to be particularly eager to head in that direction.
And while he gives the description, Ysmyr's just gonna give his shoulder a pat and thanks for giving the information. And then she's gonna look around at the others. May we know who else we are flying with?
Oh, you would ask me for 4 dragon names out of nowhere.
You should know that's going to happen and be prepared.
No.
You can do it later. That's fine.
I thought he was saying no, you couldn't ask.
Oh, I found a list of 200 names for bearded dragons, and they are quite cute, but completely inappropriate for this. All right. I found a random dragon name generator. So this is what we're going with. The first 5 names or 4 names, I guess. There's only 5 dragons there, and I've already got 1 named. One is named Gratame, one is named Zothir, one is named Karsanth, one is named Sealsronth, and one is named Odrunth.
Could you please cut and paste the names into Group 1 chat?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Thank you, sir.
Except cut and paste doesn't want to work from this website, so I have to type them out individually. There you go.
Which is the one that Tempus winged?
Karsanth.
Good to know.
All right. Well, introductions are made. I suppose we can catch up on the way.
Yep. So, it is still several days to Thessalora, but nothing is going to give problems to a group of dragons. So you can just have safe passage all the way there. If there is anything you guys would like to discuss along the way, feel free to do so.
What's the riding order? Like, who are we all cramming together on Ysmyr's mother? Are we all getting our own dragon? How are we arrayed?
The two larger dragons, Ysmyr's mother, Maddie, and Gratame, will take 3 of you each.
Am I on the same dragon as Tempus?
You can be if you want to be.
But do we know the expected travel? Is it one day, or will we be stopping somewhere?
Several days we'll be stopping.
Excellent. Different dragon for now. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, it'll take about a week.
Perfect.
Ysmyr will go on Maddie because she has some questions.
Come on, Rhodes. We're gonna ride on Maddie.
Rhodes will go along with that. He is kind of partial to the dragon that saved his ass.
Which one saved me? Because it wasn't the same one.
No, that would have been Gratame.
Okay, I'm going to want to be with Gratame if he's able to carry me. Well, he did carry me.
Yep, no problem at all.
And the one that saved me?
Maddie.
That was Maddie.
That's what I thought. But I will send smiles that way, but we'll let them be.
Would you check your chat, please? Your private channel, Ryan?
Yep, 1 second. I'm just writing down who's flying with who here. So I've got Ysmyr, Rhodes, and Tempus with Maddie, and everybody else with Gratame.
Sounds good.
Oh yeah, there's only 5 of you. For some reason, I thought I was missing somebody, but yeah, okay, I'm good. Kiara, Gratame doesn't have any information regarding what you're looking for.
Okay. So do we have any cold issues or anything like that, or are they just flying closer to the ground so we don't freeze?
Yeah, they won't fly super low, but they'll fly at kind of a middling distance so that you're out of range of giants, but aren't super cold either.
Okay, and basically while they fly, Ysmyr's going to have some questions for her mother. So...
The minute we take off, Tempus intervenes and says, "So, Maddie, tell us about when Ysmyr was a baby."
Oh my god, Tempus, I just realized what he's doing.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Of course not.
Ysmyr was a fine child, obedient, and always willing to listen to her mother. Why?
Well, because we've accepted her as the leader of our band, but she's been so quiet about her life and her family. In fact, she's been downright obfuscatory. At this point, we just, we welcome the chance to learn more about her.
And Rhodes will kind of look at Tempus and be like, "But, Tempus, I would also prefer to learn that from Ysmyr herself, when she is willing and ready to share that."
Golly gee, Rhodes, that is so respectful of you. Isn't that respectful, Mrs. Maddie?
Indeed. Well, all the same, I could regale you with stories of Ysmyr's youth. Nothing that you would be embarrassed by, I'm sure.
Well, I most certainly hope not. And she's like side-eyeing Tempest like, what the heck, man?
And she'll spend time telling you stories about how Ysmyr grew up in the Southlands, mountains bordering a jungle, and all types of stories, some of which Ysmyr might prefer that you hadn't heard, but her mother doesn't seem to think they're anything untoward.
See,
Is it?
that's one I was talking about. That's one you don't tell. Probably an embarrassing one.
Was there anything in particular that you were hoping to learn about Ysmyr?
Did Ysmyr have any boyfriends when she...
I guess that depends on what was available around the area.
There were certainly dragons and dragonborn, perhaps some other half dragons as well. So you would have had some choice.
I don't know, probably kind of like the teenager thing, flirt around a bit, hang out with one or two in particular a little more, but nothing too much that Maddie would know until Ysmyr left. Can't think of any.
Okay.
Throughout all of this, Rhodes is also going to be looking at Tempus like, what is your game? He also can't figure out what's going on.
But really, if anything, Ysmyr will be like, I don't see how any of that is important, Tempus.
Does everything have to be monumental and important?
No, but...
Is there any particular reason that you don't want us to find out more about you?
No. You already know enough.
Well, I can tell that you're clearly a little bit embarrassed, so... Okay. Thank you, Miss Maddie.
Over the course of the week of flying, will people be changing out who they're flying with at any point?
Well, I'd like to have a conversation the first time we stop, if we may.
Sure thing.
So we've settled for the evening?
Yeah.
As soon as people have gotten off Dragonback, Yaereene marches over to Tempus and says, I hear you tried to die. You can't get out of it this easily. You made a screw up, but you can't just... It's too cowardly to take that path out. You can't do that. And she'll storm off.
Well, Tempus will wait a minute or two. And, yeah, he really has nothing to say to that. I think he's probably really got his head down and is just trying to do his best to maintain a stoic exterior. Well, his jaw's probably trembling a little bit.
Rhodes is going to quietly probably pull Tempus off to the side and just invite Tempus to help Rhodes set camp or whatever he's doing. Not in an effort to try and talk it over, but just be silent company while Tempus is struggling. They're bros after all.
Oh, and he'll be grateful for that.
That was really the only thing I wanted to stop for. Thank you.
Okay.
I wasn't sure how it would end, so I didn't know if we'd all switch or not.
And we are going to have a stop and camp like we have been previously, right? Stopping at night.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just I'm willing to fast track this once everybody's had a chance to discuss everything that they want to discuss about what's been going on.
I wanted to see if I get a reaction from Maddie when one of the nights I'm just going to go through and start singing about the elfish kings and their families, going through the lineage, going through great deeds and the stories. See if she reacts to any name in particular.
Okay, give me a insight check.
Not tanked.
Yeah, you don't detect any change in her demeanor as she settles with the other dragons.
Does Ysmyr react to any?
That's up to Ysmyr. The only names that you know up to this point are like the Canopy King and his son. Other elvish royalty you haven't learned about.
Yeah, so it's nothing she doesn't know either.
So I at the college I wouldn't have learned anything because it's from the north, or?
Nope.
Okay.
And I had just sent you a quick message and just summarizing what Ysmyr might want to talk about with Maddie over the trip. So that's something we can touch on later.
Do you want to discuss that publicly over the chat, or did you want me to respond to that in typing?
If anything, I would say while they're flying during the day to kill time, Ysmyr might, in Draconic, because this is more a touchy family subject, ask or tell Maddie about what she's learned about her heritage, and then just be like, so can you tell me more about him?
Oh, well, that is. There's, I suppose, little to say. I did not know him well, but he was extraordinarily charming. Um, he was elfkin, and he certainly had a way with words. I found him most pleasurable to be around, but it seemed that he had only one thing on his mind, for once he attained his desires, he left.
All right. If he hadn't, you would have told me more, right? Well, I suppose I would have known him then.
Yes, you would have known him. Unfortunately, he did not seem the type to stick around and parent. Um, 'Twas unfortunate, I suppose, that you never got to know him. But I think in the long run, I probably would have tired of him. He spoke at length in riddles and such, and it grew quite tiresome.
In riddles. Why? Like what? Like just in general?
Oh, he was always talking about this and that of the future and things he saw, and without going into any detail, of course. Quite maddening.
He could see the future.
He certainly seemed to think he could. Of course, anybody can throw around odd generalities and proclaim them to be the future, and whenever events line up to whatever nonsense they've uttered, they can point to it and say, "Look, I told you this was coming." It's tiresome.
I I suppose it would be. Well, just just wanted to know if you knew more because, well, as you can guess, what I've learned was a little shocking. So, if you didn't know any of that, I guess you're just as in the dark as I am.
I will say that he does bear a certain resemblance to your friend there, and she gestures at Katiara and says, "At least they have the same type of blue hair."
Wait, he had blue hair.
Yes,
Am I able to hear this?
Draconic.
speaking in
All
Draconic.
right.
Huh. All right. Well, I guess I'll have to talk to Katiara later about that.
I hear my name and I'm looking over.
No, they're speaking in Draconic.
KTR is KTR, is it not?
Who knows? With Draconic, it might be the tall blue-haired elf.
Thanks for having my back.
Tempus the Betrayer strikes again.
Really leaning into that new alignment there, huh?
All right.
But yeah, you can speak with Katiara about what you've learned.
Okay. Yeah, after that she'll switch things up to just general, so like more what Maddie's been up to than anything, and then think on it for a little bit, and then yeah, eventually she'll maybe during one of the camps she'll approach Tiara and have him just have him come sit by her, and just be like, "Hey, so I've I don't know if I have a question or just want to get your thoughts on this."
Whatever.
All right. Well, so you've been around as I've found out what my uh, other half of my family is, right? And so with my mother here, it was finally a chance for me to ask. And she was telling me a bit about my father. And one of the only details she could really give me is that apparently he had blue hair like you. I don't suppose you know anyone else or knew anyone else like that, did you?
Well, you see, the thing is that this is actually an affection. I dyed my hair this color.
Okay.
But, and Ryan, you remember way back, because I had to go back and double check in my back history. But yeah, that's something that I said, is that I dye my hair to be this color because I'm thinking that it's going to help me get a patron and be memorable in people's memories.
Okay.
But would I have picked up on this from seeing another elf that has natural blue hair and remember their name?
You can give me a Either a general intelligence check or a history check.
I'll go with history. 19.
You know that the Eladrin in general have different colored hair than regular elves, and some of them would have blue hair. I believe you are half Eladrin, are you not?
I've just got down as half elf. But yeah, I
Okay.
mean, for backstory reasons, we could make me Eladrin.
Well, what's on your D&D Beyond sheet?
Yeah, I thought I'd remembered you saying that you were half Eladrin at one point. I could be wrong.
I just put in half elf. Oh yeah, he has taken acid affection, blue hair, which he thinks with his violet eyes will make him stand out, and is confident enough in himself he actually pulls it off.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I can at the very least tell you that Eladrin elves have distinctive shades like this, which is where I picked up the idea of doing it. And besides, don't you think it sets off my eyes?
Yes, it suits you. But all right. Well, thanks anyway. I guess I'm surprised I didn't come out with blue hair. So
I'm sorry I couldn't give you more.
it's all right. Thank you. And with that, Ysmyr's just going to go back to doing what she was doing.
Okay. Is there anything else that anybody else would like to discuss?
Just Yaereene will alternate between glaring at Tempest, refusing to look at him, and crying occasionally throughout the whole trip. She's a joy to travel with.
The whole trip yet?
Well, it depends. If things change, I could switch it up.
Well, I mean, at one point Tempus is going to want to talk to you, but, I don't know, is Yaereene going to allow it?
And she'll allow him to talk. She may or may not talk back.
Yaereene,
She'll look at him, tears dripping from her eyes.
I'm here to offer you a deal. In exchange for the last 6 messages, feelings, visitations, anything and in any way that the Stormlord may have contacted you, if you tell me about them, then Dowreth will give you 3 truthful answers.
That's new. What do you think I should do?
Oh, he is shocked and taken aback when you ask him that. He'll shrug and say, I don't know. What do you want to do?
I want to know if there's anything left of Tempus in there.
I am Tempus. I'm Tempus as I was before I made this deal, as much as one can be, but I have a new set of prerogatives, and there are things that I must now do.
So I'll ask again, what do you think I should do?
I think that if you decide to take this deal, then you should ask your questions very wisely, and if you do not, then just be aware that I'm not going to be able to stop.
Stop what?
Trying to find out where the Stormlord is for the one who is in my head.
What does Dowreth even really know anyway?
Absolutely everything about me, about what I think. If I have a thought, he hears it and can respond to it immediately. I can keep no secrets from him, and anything, an idle thought or a plan, it is known to him.
So not part of this deal. Ask him what it'll take to free you.
You know the answer to that.
Ask anyway.
Tempus will turn inward and say, I'll relay your words exactly.
Stormlord.
He says, Stormlord.
I have to go talk to Ysmyr.
Sure thing. And I'm going to have to step away for a bit, gang. Keep on keeping on.
So I will pull Ysmyr away. Probably not far enough away. The dragons will probably be able to overhear. Because I don't know how well dragons hear. And I'll relay everything that he just said to me. And I'm not going to tell where the Stormlord is, but is there a way we can, I don't know, do anything? Did I not have my thing on when I talked?
No,
You
just
did.
thinking.
Oh, good. It was just so quiet. I'm like,
No, just thinking. Ysmyr's just kind of gonna cross her arms and just sigh. Okay, so the deal is for 6 pieces of information, you get 3 truthful answers.
well, obviously we'd negotiate on that even if we did anything with this, because that's a 2-for-1 deal.
Yes. So balance has to be fair, and right now that's not looking as fair. Are you really wanting to consider this?
Only if we can be tricksy, but I suspect that could get me killed. I don't want to let him know where the Stormlord is.
No. So he just wants to know what your last six communications were, or everything about them.
Communications and dreams. I think he will probably pry for lots of information, but he didn't explicitly say.
Well, there's nothing saying you can't give the bare minimum. I don't has the last few been very detailed, or has it just been talking?
It's never particularly talking.
Okay. What are they in? I guess you have to think about, are they something that you think Dowreth could glean locations, places from?
I'd have to count and see whether any of that was within 6. Survive was one of the things. Okay, I need to do a little bit of thinking. Ryan just wrote me something. Sorry.
And I can give you something else to think about as well, Yaereene.
Yeah.
I want you to consider this too, because it's could be trouble on more front. But you remember Tempus asking for my dagger, right? And you know my patron's in there?
Yeah, not quite sure how he fits, but yep.
Yes. Well, as I've mentioned, if I find a host, he could track down the Stormlord.
Don't do that.
See, that's what I thought you were going to say. I just told him that I would talk to you because, well, he tried to pull the having Tempus no longer threaten you line and having you cry guilt trip on me. And I said I would talk to you about it.
The Stormlord doesn't want to be found right now.
All right. Then that's your answer on that. So back to this one, on this matter.
Ysmyr?
Yes?
I think the Stormlord can do good things for life everywhere. And that's, you know how kind of fighting the undead is bigger than saving Nordgard? The Stormlord is bigger than whether I'm crying or not. The Stormlord's bigger than us. I think the Stormlord could be very, very good for living things. Maybe not as much of a fan of the dead things that move around still a whole bunch.
Well, a good thing we're not some of those. But no, I only brought it up because I wanted you to know there was that as well. I'm not keen on what it takes to make a host anyway, so we'll figure it out. But anyway, so this deal, you're thinking of going through with it.
I think it's probably a really bad idea, but I don't know what to do. I don't see any other avenue of getting Tempus free from Dowreth.
Well, and if Dowreth said the price of getting Tempus free is the Stormlord, that's a very fine line to play.
You know, that's what he said, but maybe there's another way.
That's true. So not only do you have to carefully consider your answers about each thing he says, you have to very carefully consider your questions.
If we do it, will you help?
I can try, but I haven't been part of your dreams, so I don't know what pieces to avoid or...
What do we want to know from Dowreth? Other than his original answer on how to get Tempus back. Is there any information that Dowreth actually has that we want that badly to even risk this?
I think we need time to think about that. Maybe see if Rhodes and Katira have thoughts.
That's a good idea.
I hate to say it, but I don't think we want Tempus to know, though, because then Dowreth gets a head start on his answers.
I would agree. So,
because truthful doesn't mean you're not omitting anything.
I've seen people do that before. So, Katira and Rhodes, she'll essentially fill you in on the same information. Do you guys have any thoughts or suggestions?
I think Rhodes is going to hold his silence for now. Like, he has been listening, but he's just kind of taking it all in.
All I can think of is something obvious that he'd know his way to dance around. Like, what are you vulnerable to? But he's too wily. He'd know how to dance around that type of a question. We've got to get him in something that's going to surprise him, not let him really have time to think about it.
Well, and it seems like we've got kind of two main issues: the gods fighting and with all the other gods, and then the undead, which is somewhat separate.
And it appears there's some infighting amongst the undeads themselves, but I don't see how that really helps us in the long term. So, do we just kip and get another day's travel?
Let's just think about our questions. No
Okay,
one said
so
this
you want
deal
to
had
do
to
it?
be immediate.
Okay, because I was going to say we could wait, have another day's rest and ponder it, but
Yeah, I think we are.
Okay, so you're going to have another day travel and ponder what to discuss?
Yeah, I think we're all kind of lacking what we actually want to ask right now, so it's really hard to, on the fly, think of it.
Yep, that's fair. You can have time pass. Like you've got a week before you get to Thessalor. Well, 6 days now. So lots of time to think about things.
How much trouble can I cause in a week?
And another day goes by with travel. Is there anything anybody would like to discuss?
Tempus would like to take KTR aside at one point.
And I sent you one more, Ryan.
all right. KTR is going along.
How are you, KTR?
Honestly, a little broken.
Tell me about it.
Look at you. Look at what you are and who you are right now. It hurts me to see you.
Oh, for pity's sake, I'm still the same Tempus. I just have an evil god giving me instructions, and everything I love is being held hostage against my good behavior.
Not dramatic at all. Love it.
Exactly. You think that doesn't hurt? Me? You're my friend. You know, honestly, you're the only real friend that I've ever had. I've had acquaintances. I've had acquaintances out of my damn years. It's easy. I'm glib. I'm kind of charming. I'm a hell of a good music player. You know, it's easy to have people come up and say nice things and treat you nice, but they're not friends.
I mean, what about the rest of the warband?
I was thinking of Ysmyr's son.
Well,
I can't think of them as my daughters or my wives. Your mom
well,
would kill me for one thing.
I mean, yes, she probably would. Speaking of, it's been a long time since she's heard from you. Not to put too fine a point of it, but my mother is a very passionate individual, and when the object of its desire is away, the heart's eye may wander. Just giving you that warning. What can you tell me about the Stormlord?
I can tell you that he's our hope against your master, and that's all you're going to get.
Really? Why, what makes you say that?
Because that's what I'm holding on to in my heart, because I despise your master, and I don't want him ruling the world. So
I
I've got to
mean,
hope there's something that can stop him.
I
And it
sup-
ain't going to be me.
and that's your prerogative. But I mean, your brief engagement with the Stormlord. Do you still think of yourself as a follower after he healed you?
Am I grateful? Yes. Would I do what I could to reciprocate? Yes. And at the very least, I'll keep my mouth shut about anything more when I know it's just going straight to Dowreth. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. When you were being healed, how did it feel? Like inside you?
I pull out my panpipes and I start playing a very wistful and melancholy tune. Hang on.
And Tempus, I think, will shrug and will leave him to his melancholy. And I mean, that's it for me tonight. Stepping away.
All right.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to discuss?
I think we're still stuck on questions, so no.
Okay. Another day passes.
Can I actually ask Maddie some questions, either during the flight if we're switching around or at night? Of what she remembers of her paramour. Anything beyond blue hair, distinctive features, what he took as a name, anything like that.
Wow. Dang.
1 second. He was exceedingly handsome for an elf, and his name was Lysanthier or Duna.
And like, there's no freakishly long gestation period for dragons or anything like that. So I mean, like, it's like
No.
how old basically Ysmyr is plus a year.
That's right.
And you were what, 100 years old? You're in your hundreds, aren't you, Ysmyr?
Nope.
No?
I had her at 55.
Holy shit! I am a lot older than you. Do I recall anything about the Orduna family? Like, do I need to do either a history or a wouldn't be religion, wouldn't be arcana.
Everything that you've learned about the Orduna family has been in game, so you don't have to do a check for that. Basically, it's the name of the kings of the north. The Canopy King was an Orduna. Yeah.
Okay, so this is like a couple of centuries descendants, or would it be eons?
Sorry?
The time that's passed since the Canopy King is like,
Ysmyr's told you guys this.
and I
Yeah,
obviously don't
it's been something like 1,000 years since the reign of the
Okay,
Canopy
yeah.
King.
Okay,
And she's 2 generations down. She's the 3rd.
so we do have a way to prove the lineage. We just need to have Mum show up and intimidate the shit out of anybody that doubts it, if we get to a situation where we need to prove lineage.
Anything else?
Not for me at this moment.
Anybody else?
Not at the moment until we have some questions. So
Yeah, we're doing some serious negotiating in the back.
Yeah, I think you've done 6 questions so far.
I was just about to count.
So you've got 1 more left before the end of the week. Another day passes.
Question, Ryan.
Sure.
We're being carried by 2 of the dragons. Are the rest of them like still hanging around? Are they like interacting with us, keeping their distance?
Yes, you are. You're flying on the 2 largest of the dragons, the adults, but there are 3 other dragons as well, a wormling and 2 young.
And they're keeping an eye on us.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I have to step away again for a few moments, but I'm going to send you some messages.
Okay. Oh, that reminds me. I have something to send to Ysmyr.
uh-oh.
Are you still there, Ryan?
I'm here.
Okay. We may have some questions, but we're still working on it. Sorry, that was a false alarm.
No worries.
He and I are just messaging back and forth.
Oh, good. You occupy Ryan.
Yeah, these messages that I have typed out, I hadn't realized that I had already sent.
Yeah, right up until he finally didn't send another one.
Oh, I think I found one that you haven't gotten yet.
Okay.
And I'm back. How's everybody doing?
We are
Tickety
doing
boo.
okay.
Yeah, the question discussion is the biggest thing.
Oh, well, while you guys are having that discussion, I guess, Ryan, when we camp for the night, is the little wormling hanging around?
Yes.
If Tempus approaches him and asks him his name, what does he get back?
Oddmonth.
Oddmonth. Does that mean anything?
Nope.
I see. What's your favorite food, lad?
Fish.
Want to go see if we can find some?
Oh no, be careful with the baby dragon.
Sure, I love fishing. Can you fish?
Yeah, although I'm a little bit unconventional at how I do it. Let's go find some water.
Okay.
Is it possible that Rhodes would be aware of this exchange?
You can give me a perception check.
How's that for you?
Yep. Yeah, you would see that Tempus has gone over to talk to the wormling.
Would he have caught any of the conversation?
No, you guys weren't really camped that close to the dragons.
Okay, so I guess Rhodes will put himself on Tempus duty and wander over and be like, "Oh, hey, what's going on here? You two look like you're gonna get up to trouble."
We're going fishing.
We're going to go catch some fish. Why don't you come along, Rhodes?
That sounds like a great idea. Of course I'll come.
Oddman can tell you about all the things that dragons like.
Oddrunth.
Oddrinth, excuse me.
No problem.
And yeah, we'll head off into the woods.
Okay. Yeah, he's happy. He's bouncing around, all kinds of young energy.
I'm just gonna go out and say this now, but Rhodes is probably entirely charmed by the tiny little dragon, or like the young, smaller dragon.
Make friends.
And yeah, can we find like a body of water? Probably frozen.
Yep, no problem. There are frozen rivers and stuff.
And can we smash through the ice?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a problem. You're really strong.
Okay, and Tempus is then going to basically start clambering like under the ice and going after the fish directly.
Oddrinth watches you fascinated, with big eyes.
Rhodes is also observing, but more in the line of, do you think this is a good idea? Are you okay?
Are you like putting that as a question, or is that just your observational mode, so to speak?
Sorry, that would just be the observational mode. He has yet to say anything. He has been happily observing for majority of this trip and will continue that trend thus far.
All right, does Tempus come back up with any fish?
Give me a survival check at disadvantage.
Boo.
No.
Well, he'll come up and say, well, that's unfortunate. They're just not biting. Rhodes, your turn. And he's going to push Rhodes into the water.
Is Rhodes wearing his armor?
Well, you guys had set down to camp for the night, so that's up to you.
I'm not sure. I feel like with the dragons around, he wouldn't be. So he would be fully clothed, but not in armor.
Okay, you are fully clothed and pushed in the water.
But while Rhodes is distracted, Tempus is going to turn to Oddrinth and say, Oddrinth, do you think you could do me a favor, lad?
Maybe.
See this shiny ring I have? Do you like it?
Oh, yes, I do.
If you can find out where Auntie Ysmyr has a dagger, either in her possessions or on her person, I'll give you this ring. And if you can bring it to me, I'll give you another secret treasure.
Really? Should I go right now? But I want fish.
Oh, don't worry. After we dig Rhodes out, we'll get some fish. Excuse me a moment, and I'll try and help Rhodes out.
Is it at all possible to make a perception roll at disadvantage to see if Rhodes caught any of that?
Give me a roll at disadvantage.
Okay, disadvantage is control, right?
Yeah.
Nope. Oh
Nope.
my god.
You are splashing around and looking for fish and scaring them all away.
I don't think so much he's looking for fish as he's trying not to drown.
That's fair.
Well, we'll dig Rhodes out, and Tempus will say, Rhodes, that was very careless. It's quite cold out here. You and Oddrinth should warm up. I'll go back in for some fish, and I'll go in another time to see if I can find any, although our shenanigans may have scared them all away.
Yeah, there's no fish anywhere nearby.
Well, fishless then, unless Rhodes has anything else, we'll head back to camp.
Rhodes is going to spend the entire time muttering, Why? Why do I walk into this stuff? Why do I just let this happen? Why do I do this every time?
And if you come back sopping wet, I'm pretty sure Ysmyr is going to look at you and be like, what happened?
Oh, Rhodes is definitely going to be sopping wet and like arms wrapped around himself, despite the fact that he has the boots that keep him warm. He's probably going to be feeling a bit of that chill.
I mean, both of us are probably soaking wet, having been in the water.
Oh yeah, def.
Ysmyr, the silver wormling comes bounding over to you, looking extremely excited, and says, do you have a nice shiny dagger?
Nice.
Ysmyr's just going to tilt her head and look at him and just be like, yes?
Can I see it?
She'll just like point to it on her belt. It's right here.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Thanks. And the dragon goes bounding off back to the other dragons.
I have to admit, I'm not used to young dragon wormlings. But then she turns her attention back to Rhodes and is just like, oh, so what happened? And then she's going to prestidigitate the water away so he's at least dry.
We went fishing. It was great. We didn't catch any fish.
And how does that result in you getting wet? You know what? You can tell me. Just by the fire. Come on.
And so as they go to the fire, I think that's where Rhodes is going to like loop an arm through Ysmyr as though he's like leaning on her for support. I don't know, maybe the shivering made him feel exhausted, but he's going to use that as an excuse to lean in closer and be like, he asked the silver dragon to go off with them by themselves. Is everything okay? What happened?
Didn't see anything happen. The dragon just asked about my dagger, which, well, he wouldn't have had a reason to ask. All right, I have a guess.
We might want to keep an eye on Tempus and make sure he doesn't go off alone with anybody. And maybe keep better guard ourselves so we don't get shoved into open pools of water.
Well, now you know better.
Uh-huh.
Come on, just stand here and warm up.
Yeah, Rhodes is going to sit close, like as close to a fire as he can to try and get the chill out of him.
And if there's any hot water or something, like, Ysmyr will give him some tea. Like, just warm up, man.
So Rhodes will probably spend majority of the evening muttering under his breath, and if anyone asks why or tries to listen, they're just going to see her muttering to himself, why do I do things like this? Why do I keep getting involved? You could just not do it, Rhodes, but every time, there you are.
Actually, KTR hears this and is kind of smiling in a way. Well, at least it's not me this time. Anybody else have something else for tonight?
Yeah, actually, while she's getting Rhodes to warm up, Ysmyr's going to take a minute and just sit beside him and just be like, so, this week's been a lot. How are you feeling getting close to home?
Well, I'm sure it will be a productive trip, hopefully.
That sounds very confident.
Look, at the end of the day, I'm not all that excited to go back. I just want to make sure my mom's okay. I don't really care if we stay that long.
Hopefully, she is. But we can make it a priority to find out first, if you'd like.
Well, we're not likely to find out in Tazalora, so let's just get that far for right now, without any more incident if we can help it, considering our lovely ramshamble group is a bit in shambles.
Tell me about it.
And you? How's it like traveling with big ol' mom?
That's all right. Just like I mentioned when we met up with them, I was surprised to see her, but for considering everything, our reunion hasn't been so bad.
Yeah, she seems nice.
Yeah, well, I have to say it, she's my mom, but, considering our last draconic companion, she's way easier to travel with.
I am much more certain that this one won't kill me. How are you feeling about how everything parted ways? You seemed very not yourself towards the last day or so of travel with Rash.
And you'll notice she tenses up a little, but I'm glad we don't have to travel with him anymore.
Noted. Hey, for what it's worth, I mean, I'm already on his bad side, so if he comes back, I guess he could either use me as a toothpick or a good warm-up snack, but I will definitely make sure I stand between you and him for what it's worth.
Well, thank you. Well, by the end there, I was more concerned keeping him away from Yaereene, which, thanks for stepping in there.
Gotta say, I've never cock-blocked a dragon before. That's both empowering and terrifying at the same time. That is, if anything happens to me on this trip, I want that to be the story they tell about me. You make sure that happens, and let KTR know too. He can sing songs about it and everything.
Yeah, I'll make sure he writes a song for you. Rhodes the cockblocker.
Dear God.
At least the last bit of our travel will be going a lot smoother. And how are you feeling about getting to Tazalora, your queen?
I'll be glad to be off the road, so to speak. I don't know what to expect when we get there, so guess we'll see. It's a stopping point.
Well, let's just try to keep everyone in one piece till then. I'll do my best to watch our wonderful warrior friend here without getting shoved into any more lakes.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him. Have you thought of any more quests? And Ysmyr will glance around and make sure Tempus isn't around before asking. Any thoughts on any questions for Yaereene?
I don't know. I guess I would ask about the gods. I mean, if what we have for gods is so powerless that two can run amok, then like, what do we have the gods for to begin with? And I guess how do you stop something like a god if they're already that powerful that they can go through their own like a blade through grass?
That's a good question.
I guess it bugs me that when, Big T was in trouble, it was a bunch of mortals who helped him out. It was us who did the heavy lifting, and we paid the price for it. And for what?
That's the funny thing. I've noticed we think we need gods. But a lot more often than not, it comes down to what we can do and trusting ourselves to do it.
I'm just starting to think that they need us more than we need them sometimes.
If anything, maybe look at them as just people with a little more power than the rest. But they're still people. They need others just as much as someone else might need a hand. Whether it's for good or bad, there's good and bad people too.
It's a lot to think about either way. You think Yaereene will even take the deal?
She might, if she's very, very sure that she can take it and not risk the storm. We're all feeling stuck with where Tempus is right now, and honestly, this is the one little tidbit we've gotten so far that might give us something.
Well, all we can do is what we can do. I guess we just keep our heads on our shoulders, and at the end of the day, if we do take the deal and it goes awry, well, we'll figure something out. We always do.
Yeah, or trip into whatever the next step is. We do that a lot too.
Your assessment is probably more accurate than mine. Mine was definitely more optimistic.
And I hope you keep that optimism.
We should maybe check on the rest of the group. I'm sure I'll warm up if I move around.
All right. Yeah. And with that, she'll just give his pat his shoulder and get up and do rounds, I guess.
So as she's walking away, he's going to call out and be like, "Hey, for what it's worth, having met your mom, I see where he got your looks now."
And thanks. And then she's gonna.
Please tell me you blushed.
And Tempus fist pumps somewhere without knowing why.
No, there was definitely a little blush there. She's not used to compliments, people.
That is so patently not true. We compliment you all the time by telling you how great you are and how much we trust you.
Yes, but nobody tells her she's pretty.
Exactly.
So what is the watch order?
I'll go first. Ysmyr should go second, and then Rhodes, and then Katiara, and whoever wants to after that, I guess.
So who's watching with Tempus?
I will.
No.
Running over.
Oh,
No.
sounds good.
I mean,
But
you can watch
also-
with whoever else is watching with Tempus.
Pardon me?
You can watch with whoever else is watching with Tempus.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
The more the merrier.
6 eyes are better than 4.
I guess Rhodes will volunteer to watch with Tempus, but we'll see how well that goes for him.
And I push Rhodes in the lake. No, there's no lake to push you in. That's okay.
You get one of the dragons to cast spell so there's a body of water, and then push Rhodes in.
Hey, now you're cooking with gas.
Okay, so the watch order I have is Tempus and Rhodes, then Ysmyr, then Katiara, then Yaereene.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay.
By the way, Yaereene will be actively also keeping watch on Tempus during her time, as well as for external threats.
Okay.
Well,
Good to know.
That goes without saying.
So on the first watch, Rhodes, are you, I don't know, you say that you're monitoring me, are you hanging around?
Yeah, I think Rhodes would, kind of hang around and try to make casual conversation. Nothing too deep, but, conversational.
Okay, so you start off with something conversational, and Tempus will say, "So tell me, Rhodes, what do you appreciate the most about a woman?"
Oh boy.
I guess that she's a woman.
Explain.
Well, woman thing. Why are you asking me this, Tempus?
Why are you blushing?
Now, I did not say I was blushing, and it's very dark out right now. I just want to know what brought up this line of questioning.
Well, I'm just curious is all. It seems like you would probably be a leg man, that you would really appreciate some finely tuned calves.
Well, I mean, I do like a very nice, strong set of thighs to wear his ear. But no, I'm not. No, we're not going down that road. Why are you asking me this, Tempus?
Well, because I'm just curious what you prefer, long hair or short hair? Or maybe even, like, a nice fade cut or something.
Well, that depends on where the body of the hair is, but that's besides the point. You're still not answering my question.
And I don't know. Athletic build or curvaceous? What really gets your motor running?
I'm not one to discriminate. As I said, I like woman. Why are you dancing around the question, Tempus? Is this about the conversation you tried to have with Maddie? What are you doing?
Hush! Do you hear that?
And Rhodes will listen. Oh, I'm not sure if I hit my button here. Rhodes will fall silent to listen.
That's right. It's silence. You better wait here. I'm going out to the woods. If I don't come back in like 5 or 10 minutes, you better wake up Ysmyr and let her know. And Tempus will take off running into the woods.
Rhodes is going to immediately wake Ysmyr up and do his best to follow Tempus.
Well, which is it? Are you waking up Ysmyr or are you following Tempus?
How far away is like the rest of the group? Would it be easy to quickly wake them?
I imagine Tempus would have taken you a ways away from the group for this shenanigans.
Rhodes is going to... Sorry, go ahead. Rhodes is going to run back to camp to wake... to wake the group, especially Yaereene, because if nothing else, Yaereene can track Tempus better than Rhodes.
When you run back to camp, you see Dowreth with everybody, and he has a very curious look on his face.
What you doing there, little buddy? And like as he says this, he's gonna like walk over to Ysmyr and kneel down to kind of like try and shake her awake.
Dowreth says, I got the dagger, but then the dagger disappeared. And it's back on Ysmyr's belt. That's not fair.
And I'm guessing she hears that as she wakes up?
Yeah.
Wait, you stole my dagger?
No. And his eyes are just huge. He looks so scared and sad at the same time. He says, no, Tempus just wanted me to borrow it from you.
Okay. Well,
What the hell's going on?
well, Dowreth, I'll talk to Tempus. Is there a reason you were helping him? Or when did he ask you?
He asked me earlier, and he gave me a nice shiny ring to help. But now I'm not going to get the surprise treasure because I didn't get the dagger.
Well, that's not fair, is it? I'll talk to Tempus when he comes. Where is Tempus?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to Tempus, and we should make sure you are compensated for trying, right?
Okay, that sounds great.
All right, but don't do any favors for him anymore, okay?
Why not?
Tempus is dealing with some stuff, and it makes him do some bad things, and having you take my dagger is one of those bad things.
I didn't know it was a bad thing. He just said he was going to borrow it and give it right back.
Yeah, you didn't know, so it's okay. But Tempus knew, so I'm going to talk to him about that, okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, how about you go get some rest, and I'll wait here with Rhodes until Tempus gets back.
Okay. I'm real sad that caper didn't work out. It sounded like it was going to be lots of fun. Maybe next time. And he bounds off towards the other dragons.
She'll give him a pat on the head, and it's just like, good try.
Do I go back to sleep or do I stay up?
Yaerene's staying up.
I'm looking to Ysmyr.
Well, either we go find Tempus or we just wait for him, so you might as well sleep.
All right. Don't worry about waking me again.
That sounds familiar.
No, it's worse when it's real. You know that.
So about 4.5 minutes later, Ysmyr and Yaereene, since you're both up, you would see a sign of a fire off in the distance.
Do we wake everybody and find out? He's getting more desperate.
I think so. Rhodes, do you mind keeping an eye on things here? Yaereene and I can go see what that fire is.
As a player, that was an exciting point to come back to. As a character, Rhodes agrees.
Should we split up? He's getting more desperate.
We could try, yes.
No. My thought is, should we stay together? He's getting more desperate.
I mean, really, this is a camp of dragons. If we let the dragons know, there's no reason that somebody would have to stay behind to keep watch. We could all go looking for him.
I like that idea.
All right, let's do that then. She'll go and do her best to wake up Maddie and just let her know what's happening.
Yeah, that's fine. She'll keep an eye on things.
All right. So it's no nap time tonight. That's fine. What's the HUD done? And then I look to the bright light and I go, oh, well, I guess we better be off.
All right, so you guys are going to go investigate the fire?
Together, yep.
Yeah.
As a group, yep.
Okay. As you guys approach, you see Tempus sitting by a large pyre that he's lit.
Is there anyone else there with him?
Nope.
What you doing, Tempus?
Wondering why all of you are abandoning your watch.
My mother's got an eye on things.
Do you trust her? After all, she abandoned you when you were very young.
She didn't abandon me.
She did leave you on your own.
I left.
And Tempus will shrug at that.
So, Oddrunth had a little incident.
Well, then that confirms that I can't take the dagger through guile. I'm either going to have to get it through force, or you're going to have to give it to me willingly.
Yaereene will step closer to Ysmyr.
Why are you so stuck on it, Tempus?
The dagger is the source of your patron. It's what's leading us to the Stormlord. If I can find out where the Stormlord is, then I am obeying my direction from Dowreth, and Yaereene is safe.
I told Yaereene that option. She doesn't want it.
Well, I tried to take myself out of this dynamic. I tried to spare you all my betrayals and the presence of an antagonist in your camp, and you refused me. This is what your actions have wrought.
Why don't you just travel with us?
I'm going to. Don't worry, I've learned my lesson. You can trust me now.
KTR cocks an eyebrow very obviously.
Ysmyr, I hope that you won't judge Oddrunth too harshly. In all fairness, you being his family really should have been keeping a closer eye on him when he went talking to strangers.
And you shouldn't pull a child into your plans.
Probably not.
Was there a reason you wanted us away from the camp tonight?
I mean, really that was just a distraction so that he would have a chance at the dagger and maybe Ysmyr wouldn't notice right away. I rather feared that he wouldn't be able to take it from you, and now that that's been confirmed, I shall have to turn myself to other avenues. By which I mean I've been thwarted utterly, and I give up.
You're giving up?
On trying to suss out the Stormlord, completely.
I don't think Dowreth will let you do that.
Well, we'll find out. Who wants to go back to camp?
After you.
And Tempus will walk past you all with his head held high, not looking back.
I'll wink at the ladies and I set off after him.
How big is the fire? Because Ysmyr will snuff it out if it's small enough for prestidigitation.
No, it's quite large.
Okay.
This is snowy area, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's not spreading. It's not like a forest fire. It's just he found a lot of wood and piled it all up.
I'll look back at the ladies and I'll say, just in case he's using it to attract something, we may want to just keep throwing snow on it till it goes out. and I'll keep an eye on him on the way back.
We'll keep an eye on it.
Oh, I think Rhodes is going to set about starting to dump snow on it to try and put it out sooner.
Yeah, Yaereene will help with that.
Okay. Yeah, you guys put the fire out with snow. No problem. And Katiara, you follow Tempus back to camp.
Back at the camp, Tempus is going to call Audrinth over.
Audrinth comes bounding over excitedly.
So I appreciate you trying. Do you want the bonus treasure even though you didn't get the knife?
Well, I don't know. Ysmyr seemed to think that what you were doing was a bad thing. So I don't know if I want a reward for doing a bad thing.
Well, the bonus treasure was a lesson. And Tempus is going to just poke him on like a head scale. The lesson is that you shouldn't trust strangers who ask you to do something against your family. Think on it, lad. And Tempus will turn away from him and ignore him.
Oh, okay. He turns and kind of just slinks away back to his family.
I try and reach out to him and pat him. And, boy, you are a boy, right?
Yeah.
Don't take it hard. You're used to being with people that you can trust absolutely. You're not used to doubting others. While you're with your dragons, be you. But when you're around us, or people that aren't dragons, his lesson is actually appropriate. You're a good lad. Off with you.
Okay. And he slinks back to his family. Any more excitement for the night?
I'm just going to go up to Tempus. Well, boy, that was a shite thing to do, but it was also nice to make a little bit of a good lesson out of it.
Don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do a thing.
I just sigh, pat him on the shoulder, and I say, of course you didn't. You sleep well, Tempus.
And that's it from me. Unless anybody else has anything tonight, that's it from me.
I'm good, but love the drama.
All right. Yeah. Anybody else have anything they want to do tonight?
No.
Other than Ysmyr just voicing I don't know what to do about him. That's it.
All right. Another day passes. Ysmyr, at the end of the day, Audrinth comes over, his head held kind of low, but he's still got like this curious sparkle in his eye. And he says, Ysmyr, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How come I couldn't get your dagger?
Well, it has some magic on it that stops that.
Oh. So if like a powerful wizard came up to you and like dispelled the magic, would it still come back to you?
Yep. In this case, yes.
Wow. You're really strong.
Well, only as strong as the magic things. They help a lot.
Could you teach me magic things?
I guess, Ryan, this is a question I would have for you. Since Ysmyr is a warlock, would she know enough of the magic to teach it?
You would be able to give Audrinth ideas about how to find a patron, perhaps, that would grant him magic powers.
That's a big question. Depends. Different people do magic differently. Some people are like wizards who learn it, or you could be like Katiara. He does magic. Even Yaereene does it.
Really?
And Rhodes, yeah.
You guys all do magic?
And all in very different ways, so it depends on how you want to learn it.
That's amazing. The only magic thing I can do is breathe ice, and I can fly. I think that's it.
I can do the ice thing too, but not the flying yet.
Oh, is that because you're not a real dragon?
That's probably part of it. Just takes a little longer. Plus, I haven't. I was living among other people for a while, so I didn't get to practice that often.
Well, am I close enough to hear this conversation?
He would have made sure to be having this conversation privately with Ysmyr.
Okay.
But he says, sorry, what did you just say, Ysmyr?
She was like, it was probably partially being not a full dragon, and also because she hasn't had a lot of practice, because she was living among like other people.
Oh, So you'd probably like Kakad and Carrie. They're not like real dragons either, and they seem to be kind of out of practice. And maybe you guys could all learn to be dragons together.
Yeah, maybe. Kakad and Carrie? Are they? I don't know those ones.
Yeah, they're I think they're called Dragonborn, and they're friends with Mother, kind of. We all lived in the mountain together anyway, and uh Mum says not to ask Carrie any questions because she's really sad. But Kakad likes to talk. He talks lots. Uh, but he's not here right now.
Well, maybe I'll talk to him. Where is he?
Um, there's this place that Mum flew us to on the coast called Elliston or something like that. And so I think Kakad and Carrie are staying there while we were flying around looking for stuff.
Okay, well, if we're over there, maybe I'll go see him.
Okay.
But for the magic, maybe just think about what kind of magic you want to do. You're young, so you have a lot of time. You could, learn wizardry and be as strong as a wizard if you wanted.
Well, it was really cool when your dagger just disappeared, like right out of my claws and back onto your belt. I want to do that.
Well, that's more because of the item than any magic I have.
Oh, it's a magic dagger.
Yeah, yes. So you might just have to find one. Sorry, you can't have this one. Sorry.
I have a magic ring. Can it do it? And he shows you the ring that Tempus gave him.
Would I know what that ring was?
Yeah, you probably would have figured it out at some point that it's a ring of warmth.
Yes, actually, that is a magic ring, but it doesn't do the reappear or disappear. That's a ring of warmth. It helps you with the cold, so it's probably not very helpful for you, but it doesn't hurt to have.
Oh. Well, maybe I'll just keep it in my treasure hoard. I'm going to start a treasure hoard. I'm so excited to have a treasure hoard.
And there's your first piece.
Oh boy. This is the best day ever.
You should go tell Mum about it.
Okay. And Audrinth goes bounding off to talk to Maddie.
Ysmyr's little brother, everyone.
Super cute.
Hoo boy.
And I've got something else that I need to send to Ysmyr.
Ysmyr, I can't wait for your babies.
Was that in character?
No, that
Okay.
was not.
Okay. Well, because as Audrinth runs away, Ysmyr looks just kind of chuckling to herself for a minute and then frowns and looks absolutely stricken. Crap. Everyone?
Is?
Hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to type and my cat is forcing her face into my hand, so I keep mistyping.
Awesome.
You're not giving her enough attention. You're a terrible fur mother.
She's just spoiled.
There is no such thing as enough.
Yeah, my cat is very standoffish, so it's a little bit different.
Sorry, I am trying to type out a reply to Ascending. But while I think about it, Ysmyr calls out to everyone and just like frantically waves for y'all to come over, and she looks upset.
Yaereene will rush over.
Same goes.
I just got a sending from Yuri. He has invaders at his gates. Damling died to an orc who wore an elf's face and magical bone armor. Nordgard's overrun.
What?
The duel. Dameline didn't have what it takes. The flesh takers are in the city now.
What about that sod? The one that besmirched our names?
Gorold?
Yeah.
He's probably going to throw in with the invaders. I mean...
I'm looking at Ysmyr to see if she has anything to corroborate that. Yeah, I agree. It sounds likely, but...
I can only go off what he sent, and that was his last spell. I'm not going to get an answer. At this point, I don't care what your petty fight is with Gorold. Our city just fell.
I'm sorry.
I tried to warn everyone that they should have evacuated. I hope that this trip north was worth it. The rule of the flesh takers will be horrible for those that survive.
Even if we had stayed, I don't see the difference that the handful of us would have made.
I hate to say it, but I agree with your Rhodes.
Tempus thinks that he maybe would have liked a chance to stand as Nordgard's champion in Damoline's stead, but he'll keep it to himself and just sit quietly.
There was no word of my family?
KTR is silent, thinking of his betrothed.
No, he just told me that they were overrun.
Well, I think that when we left Nordgard, this became inevitable. At this point, unless any of you have a means to return now, all we can do is press onward.
I think that's probably true.
All right. Another night passes, and you guys travel for the day. Is there anything you guys would like to discuss tonight?
Tempus will take Rhodes aside.
Oh boy.
I'm just gonna say Ysmyr's pretty quiet and upset after hearing that. So it's another quiet Ysmyr day.
Rhodes, what have you heard from Tempus?
Tempus gives me my spells every morning. Why do you ask?
I just wanted to know if all these things that I have done, well, if it was worth anything.
It has to be. We have to believe it was. We have to believe that everything we do and did, and moving forward will continue to do, are worth it.
I see. Are you in full control of your faculties? Do you have all of the spells that Tempus provides to you?
As I mentioned, Tempus does answer my prayers every morning. He does give me the spells I require.
The spells that he gives you, do you have the means to aid us in our search?
In our search for what exactly?
For the Stormlord.
I will help with what I have as I am able to, as I feel is necessary.
So do you have the means to divine for the Stormlord?
I suppose that one's up to chance, because if I had those means, I suppose our last divination would have been more accurate.
What divination? You divined something?
You don't remember our lovely little spar, Tempus?
Well, yeah, but that was, specifically to ask about trying to save Tempus. If that's the last time you've spoken to him, then you haven't tried to find the Stormlord. Care to try for a new ritual?
I think I need a bit of a break from, getting a little manhandled for a while there, Tempus, buddy.
Well, we did talk about, what you like in a lady, so if you're done with manhandling, then I guess there's other options available. Just saying, lots of eligible bachelorettes around here. Anyway.
Nice.
I love my wonderful wife, everybody. So, Tempus is going to continue asking Rhodes. Rhodes, what were you looking for again? Your uncle or some such?
I think we're under more pressing matters. That's not anything I really want to concern the rest of the group with.
Why are you being so mysterious?
Why are you asking so many questions?
Because I'm coming around to answers in which I basically get you to admit that you owe me.
All right, Tempus. You know I've always preferred the direct route. What do you feel I owe you?
You owe me for your spells. Tempus owes me for his freedom, and I figure it's time for you to pony up.
What do you want, Tempus?
I would like you to use divination, the same divination ritual that we did last time. Ask Tempus what he knows about the Stormlord.
No.
So you're a Welsher, in addition to being a chicken shit. I thought that I knew you better when I became your blood brother.
Call me what you want, Tempus, but I'm not doing this for the evil god talking in your head.
And Tempus is going to lean in close, very, very close to Rhodes, and he's going to whisper, "Save me," and walk off.
Rhodes is going to just stand very quietly for a long moment watching Tempus leave. Take a deep breath and go, "I'm trying, buddy. I'm going to keep trying."
Well, and that's it for me.
Anybody else?
Ysmyr will just let the others know she got in their sending, detailing that Gorold had evacuated days before the attack, leading the people south. Yaereene didn't think they could outrun the Outdead, but that didn't stop him from trying. and that she was just going to reply back that basically evacuated and alive means there's still hope, and that we were going to press forward, and because that's all we can do.
Is there any way that we can send some real aid to them, if nothing else, to at least help cover their retreat?
This is still in the evening, right?
Yes.
Aniri's defenses are holding while an orc batters at his tower, while others are chanting the name Etaha, but he doesn't think he can escape.
Is Yaereene powerful enough to use some sort of magic that he could travel an incredible amount of distance in a single bound? Basically escape from Nordgard.
I've been telling him to get out while he can. The fact he hasn't suggests to me he doesn't have that power.
The next time he contacts you, ask him to message me, please.
Sorry, just checking that if I can fit that in this message. But, alright, she'll let you know she managed to tell him that, to message you. If he can, he might. Otherwise, he might focus. Just keep messaging me. I don't know.
Tempus will shrug.
All I can do is keep going forward at this point. Hope the people going south are safe. But I'm guessing that's all we got right now.
Okay. The next day passes, and as night falls, the dragons land outside the walls of Thessalora.
Okay, as we get close, Ysmyr's going to take a look and just see if the city seems fine, untouched, that sort of thing. See what she can see as we get closer, basically.
Yeah, the city appears to be intact, and everybody there seems to be fine. I'm just trying to find the map now. I know I made one, but now I'm wondering if I actually got around to importing it into Foundry. It doesn't look like it. I'm going to post the map into the chat for now, and I'll get it set up in the game.
So, beg pardon, like the dragons put down at night inside of the walls of Thessalora?
Sorry, I was reading a message. What was that?
Beg pardon, the dragons put us down in the night in sight of the walls of Thessalora? Like we're...
Yeah, it's just about nightfall as you guys land outside the southeast walls where you can see the road goes to gate.
Well, Ysmyr, you've led us here. What should we be looking for in town?
Well, isn't this Rhodes town?
It's neither. I think we should be looking for a place to stay. To start.
Well, we'll head into town in the morning. I believe that I've got everybody's money, so is there anything that anybody wants to purchase?
Everyone should have the money split up.
But it's way more fun if Tempus was carrying it all for you.
I think he had been doing that.
No, he hadn't. It's on the sheet.
I'm pretty sure the only one who isn't carrying money is Rhodes, because
Yeah.
armor.
And because of her gloves, Ysmyr's carrying Rhodes' money.
Can you tell us anything about this town? What kind of people live here? What should we expect?
Well, Ryan, how would Rhodes answer that?
I think we've discussed what Rhodes's relationship is with the elves of Thessalora. So you can feel free to answer however you'd like.
I meant as in, like, what Rhodes would know of Thessalora. I don't think we ever discussed the city itself.
I see. Okay.
Like Rhodes is going to divulge information that easily about his backstory.
Fair enough. The city is run by 4 elves. There's the Shinar Norgiel, leader of the Holy Quadrant, Zondi Sleetstep, leader of the Scout Quadrant, Amacy Woodsworth, leader of the Soldier Quadrant, and Fond Clear Eyes, leader of the Mystic Quadrant. So as you may have guessed, the city is mostly made up of scholarly spellcaster types, clerics and paladins, rangers, and fighters. Historically, the city is kind of the last bastion of the elves in the north. there used to be more settlements throughout the area, but they rallied here and fended off the orcs who had been invading elven lands.
Is Tempus getting any interesting looks?
Well, you're not in the city yet.
So Rhodes would share that and likely caution that getting Tempus into the city might be a bit of a chore.
Oh, don't worry about that.
That kind of makes me worry more there, bud.
Nope, I'll just charm them.
Oh boy.
Persuasion by brute force?
Nah, just I'll be very, very charming.
Maybe I should venture into the city and at least see if I can find any of my old teachers or friends that I knew here while I was here, and see if perhaps anything's changed or if there are any good venues that might accommodate all of us.
Well, before you go, I know that the last couple of days' journey has been really, really hard for everybody, so I just wanted to apologize for what I've put you through, and I've made everybody breakfast.
Can I do an insight, please?
Same.
Yeah, sorry, Tempus. I'd like to do one too.
And my passive is 15 on that.
My passive also being 11. Or 16, sorry, I read the wrong one. Oh my god.
It's not that we don't trust you, we just totally don't trust you.
Well, I think your insight would probably reveal that I want you to eat breakfast.
Right, but is it poisoned?
Tempest will take a spoonful and eat it in front of you and say, "It's porridge.
That
It's really good."
You would totally eat poisoned porridge for us.
More-
anything about whether it's poisoned or not.
More trying to get a sense of his intent. Like,
I just shrug and I eat it.
More trying to get a sense of his intent. Like, is he trying to get on good sides again?
I mean, with a roll of 20, Ryan, do you want me to roll at them back? Like, give me a
Sure.
roll. Okay.
Yeah, give me a roll back, I guess.
Yeah, all right. Do we have inspiration?
I think you used it last time.
I really did. KTRA, do you want to give me a bardic inspiration real quick?
No.
Well, y'all suck, and I don't like it.
Your
You
own
threw
fault.
me into a lake!
You had a baby dragon steal my dagger.
And we know you have an evil god in your head.
He really would like you to eat some of this porridge, please.
I already said I was going to eat it. If I'm like fully into being the canary in the coal mine, the guinea pig in the research lab. I'm just scarping it down.
I've never seen an elf eat so quickly or vigorously. This is amazing.
Well, having lived with orcs, you kind of get a taste for it. You know, it's filling. You know, and it warms you for the day, and it's frickin' cold out here, isn't it?
So, with all due respect to Tempus, I appreciate the gesture, but KTR, you wouldn't mind partaking in my share?
I mean, I would. That's just bad manners.
Let me put it this way. Let's wait 15, 20 minutes and see if I keel over.
Oh,
And then I just give the biggest shit-eating grin to Tempest I can. Did you find some wild berries to put in here?
Okay. Katiara.
How much of a con save do I need to make?
I'm going to send you a link.
Cool.
how high of a level of cleric do we need to fix him? We've been through this before.
No, I think basically it's a link to describe how I am ensorcelled and need to behave. Okay, guys.
Yeah. You don't,
5 to 10 minutes pass by, and all of a sudden you see I'm picking up my panpipes, and I'm starting to play, but it's very, very different. Like, I'm not using usual scales. It's like I'm experimenting, and I'm doing what would seem discordant and like doing fifths over thirds and like just doing very, very weird chord structures. It makes sense, but it's not normal.
Do you seem happy while you're doing it?
Oh, hell, I'm engrossed. I am deep into this shit.
That's an out of character question. How high is K-Tiara?
The answer is yes.
I am tripping like a motherfucker.
So Rhodes did wait the 10 to 15 minutes before he tried any. He has opted not to try any and just subtly pushes the bowl that was meant for him over to K-Tiara.
Yaereene hasn't even picked hers up. She's just glaring at Tempus.
I'm just starting to just double down on it, and I like the pan pipes I'm trying to do with one hand while the other hand is doing offbeats and riffs and tiplets on the bowl, which I've flipped over of Rhodes. So I'm making it into kind of like a conga.
Oh, goodness.
Ysmyr's just standing there pinching her, the bridge of her nose, because... What's in the porridge, Tempus?
Lots of nutrition.
What's in there that would make K-Tiara act like he is?
I refuse to take any blame for K-Tiara being the way K-Tiara be.
Ryan, would I know from a survival check what sort of things you could find in the forest nearby that could do something like that?
Give me a survival check.
Can I also make a survival check under the premise that Rhodes did grow up in this area?
Or nature. Either is fine. Sure.
Nope, I'm not from around here. I don't understand it at all.
It's a good thing Rhodes is here.
Yeah. You and your fellow clerics would sometimes purchase mushrooms from the wizards in town who experimented with things for alchemical purposes. And you have definitely seen this sort of thing before amongst your fellow trainees when you've had good nights getting high on mushrooms.
Tempus, where did you find your ingredients for this?
I mean, it's porridge. I basically just used oats that we had in the ration store.
Tempus, why did you add mushrooms to the porridge?
Because I'm really hoping that I can winkle out the location of the Stormlord from you by any means, foul or fair.
Somebody put a gag on K-Tiara.
K-Tiara, can you see the heavens now?
Put a gag on him now.
I all of a sudden you hear my riff go from discordant and all that to kind of airy and atmospheric. I am not speaking. I am just trying to communicate by building soundscapes for you to understand the deeper and the truer meaning, because words just can't express it.
Can you see the Stormlord? Is he talking to you?
I just start riffing down on the sound of triplets, trying to give a sense of falling rain.
Rhodes is going to lean over to Ysmyr and suggest taking the panpipe from him and gagging him.
Well, you got a gag?
I'm sure we can find something.
KTR is enough of a fop that he has scarves and fucking shit hanging all over him.
Alright, Ysmyr will... What she'll do is she'll walk up to K-Tiara while he's playing and, I don't know, pull a kerchief out or something, and then, not meanly, but just enough to make sure she can do it, tie one of those kerchiefs around his head before pulling away the panpipes.
I just need confirmation that K-Tiara basically carries around his own bondage kit by that admission.
Taking way too long to get an answer for that.
I didn't know how much I needed to elaborate.
Not much.
No, that was perfect amount of elaboration there.
All right. So you tie a kerchief around KTR's head and take his pipes.
As you take the pipes from his mouth, he actually starts to talk, and he just says, "No, I'll never catch this phrase again. Come on, guys."
It's fine, K-Tiara. I can get you more mushrooms later.
And then he just goes totally passive.
And then Ysmyr will look at Tempus and be like, he went musical. You're not going to get an answer.
Not today.
Would you like to have some of the porridge?
And Tempus will smile and say, They fed this to me as a child until I could do without it, and he'll basically chug down an entire bowl.
Okay.
Rhodes is gonna stare somewhere that's between like bewilderment, shock, and disgust. Like he's not entirely sure how to feel about the admission and the display going together.
Does it seem to have impacted Tempus at all?
Give me a con save, Tempus. Well, you're lucky he didn't go into a berserker rage. He's fine.
Okay.
Shall we divide up the labor? I'll take Katiara to a lodging house. Rhodes, do you know where we might find a place to stay?
Why don't we all go and do that together, Tempus?
Because it sounds like they're not going to let you just walk in.
Oh, don't worry. I have that covered.
We need to find a lodging house in the city, Tempus.
Yeah, sure. You go first, and I'll follow you right up to the gate.
Oh boy.
You hear Katiara just merrily burbling away there and trying to do whistles and all that, since he can't do the panpipes.
Now, this may surprise you, but if the people of your city don't like orcs, we're probably going to have to tell them not the entire truth for me to get in and, stay with you and be under your watchful eye. So just go ahead and, agree with whatever I say, please.
Tempus, I think I have a better idea. So Ryan, would there be like anyone that Rhodes could ask for at the gate? Like anyone that he could talk to maybe explain the situation and why they all need to come in as a group?
Sure, yeah. You can ask for probably your trainer from the temple.
Would you like me to roll up a name, or do you have one ready?
You can roll up a name, or if you have one already set, that's good too.
I will roll up a name. Let's go with Elamaris Quinish. I will also add that into chat.
Okay. So you ask for Elamaris Quinish, and the guard looks at you curiously, but does send word back into the city, and it's not too long before your old trainer comes to the gate.
So Rhodes will salute Elamaris with a lot of deference and just be like, can I talk to you? We would like to gain admission to the city, but and he kind of like looks back to the group indicatively and goes, we are entering under interesting circumstances.
When have you ever not entered under interesting circumstances, Rhodes?
You have a point. Might you lend us your ear so we can plead our case?
I'm listening. Plead it here.
So he's gonna look to Ysmyr to see if she can take over, because at least she would be able to fill in more information about the Nordgard situation and further explain their entire journey.
With that look, she'll step up. We have traveled from Nordgard, which has been under siege from the undead and has recently fallen. Our group here has come north because we are hoping to stop here before proceeding further north, looking for the old fortress of Kalailin. As Rhodes has mentioned, we are here under special circumstances, not only with group members, but I was hoping to talk to your council members on certain topics regarding the old fortresses and kings of the north.
I see. And your orc friend there, that could be problematic, given our history.
We can't leave him unattended, Elamaris. It is of grave importance that he does stay where we can watch him.
He would
I
mean no
start
harm to the
giggling.
city.
We would prefer to leave him outside of our city walls, where all orcs should be. And when you guys look at Tempus, when he gestures to him, you see that Tempus is wearing turnips on his ears that he has carved to look vaguely like elf ears.
Oh my god.
The guard can fully see Ysmyr look back at Tempus, see that, and just grimace like, ugh.
And you hear ever so quietly from Rhodes, why didn't I think of that?
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Tempus Tomfoolery, sometimes called Tempus the Tallest Elf.
Tempus, you don't. He knows.
It's not working.
He knows. You're fine. You can take those off.
And Tempus will throw an arm around Ysmyr and say, "Look, pal, just between you and me, I'm on a quest for the orcs. I'm trying to steal the secrets of civilization from these elves. You let me in, and I'll make it worth your while."
Tempest.
You don't actually get close to Ysmyr, because he's not standing right with you guys as he's talking. But yeah, he's clearly unimpressed with you.
What would it take to bring some, not comfort, but make people more comfortable if he's in? Would it help if we bound his hands, something like that?
I'll surrender my arms. You can clap me in irons. I'd welcome an escort of guards to show me about and keep me out of trouble. Really, I just want to head to our party's inn and, help secure us lodging.
As you can see, Elamaris, we're in a position where we can't exactly leave him to his own wiles.
No, this is the way for most orcs. We will clap him in irons, and the guard shall hold the key. He is not to be set free within the city. Is this agreeable?
Yes, but can we still take him with us, or are the irons somewhere stationary?
Oh, he will be able to travel with you. He simply will not be able to cause any physical harm.
I mean, yes, very agreeable.
Rhodes is gonna Rhodes is gonna elbow Tempest in that just the quite commonly known "shut up" gesture, and look to Elamaris and just bow deeply and give his greatest thanks.
Absolutely, it's just us elves here, and Tempest will wink at Elamaris.
Okay, they bind Tempus in irons, and you guys are allowed to enter the city.
So Rhodes would like to pull Elamaris aside and travel a bit separate from the party for a brief second.
Okay.
Would you like me to... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we don't know where we're going, so we'll probably stop and wait.
I will message you.
Ysmyr, would you please buy me a number of throwing axes at the market?
Why do you need those?
So I can throw them at our foes?
Why do you need those right now?
Well, not right now, but surely you're going to the market to stock up on provisions.
And while you're speaking, an elven guard comes up and throws a bag over Tempus's head and ties it at the neck.
And what's that for?
Elamaris comes over and says, "I am to understand that Tempus may be a threat to the city, given some sort of domination or scrying that comes through his eyes and feeds information to another. Therefore, he will be blinded as well as bound."
It's okay, Ysmyr. We're all elves here, and I'm happy to make my elfy sacrifices for the elf-like cause.
So as Rhodes rejoins the group, he's also going to look very guilty.
Yeah. Ysmyr is not going to argue it, but she's going to look very annoyed. Oh, all right. Understandable. That's fine. So, I guess we've... Oh, go ahead.
No, you go for it.
I guess we find a place. At least find Tempus a room.
Yeah, there's an inn close to the gates, so that's no problem. They will want 2 silver pieces a night for each of you, and that includes breakfast.
Okay, we can do that.
You do note that the city itself is quite a bit warmer than the surrounding lands. There's a lot of greenery in the city, whereas you've only seen snow-covered plants and snowy fields everywhere outside of the city. At this point, it's clear that the elves have magic that's making the city much more comfortable in these northern climes.
Is Elamaris still kind of hanging around the group, or has he gone back to his clerical duties?
He's gone back to his duties.
So Rhodes is going to look to the group and be like, well, where do we want to start?
Well, If you go into the market, I would like some throwing axes, please, and maybe see if you can pick me up a spear. Ysmyr, may I have my halberd back?
Tempus, buddy, part of you being in the city is that you remain unarmed.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about after we leave the city. Am I getting my weapons back or no?
As long as you don't attack allies again.
I don't think I've ever once attacked allies ever.
Are we still your allies?
Of course you are. How else am I going to find the Stormlord if not with you?
Yaereene just shakes her head and turns her back.
Sorry, what was that?
She just shakes her head and turns her back to him.
Well, I suppose we can go out and look around and maybe see if there's any books or maps somewhere that could lead to Kalialin.
Kalialin, you say? What's that?
Remember the fortress I told you about?
Yes, is that the name of it?
Yes, I told you that before.
Would you remind me what we're seeking to find there?
It's an ancestral thing for me.
Fair enough.
Okay. So what are you guys doing tonight?
I'm
Have I
thinking
finished tripping?
Yeah, KTR is tripping.
I sent you my question for tonight, Ryan.
Did you?
Yeah, it's the same one that we just got to at nighttime for the first time. Oh, never mind. Nope, I got a new one.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I don't see a question recently. Other than Group 1 really does destroy everything we get in here, don't we?
Yeah. and the Stormlord doesn't need to answer that one. I've got that already.
I suppose Rhodes would like to go check out his old haunts, maybe find any other clerics to speak with.
Okay. You do know that that the training center would be closed for the night. That doesn't stop people from coming and going. There are secret passages in and out of the building that you're aware of. Having been one of the more problematic students there. So yeah, you can make your way into the building to see who's up and about.
Would there be anybody that Rhodes knew, I'm going to say kind of well?
All of the people that you went to school with here have since graduated. So you would find a new young batch of eager elves and one or two humans from Elston as well, or Elston.
Any instructors he would know that are hanging around?
Yes, you do see your instructor late at night at a table in his office, reading over some books.
So Rhodes will go to his office and very meekly, in a way that is very much not Rhodes, or at least as the party knows him, he will knock on the door and request entry.
Yes, come.
This is Elamaris, right?
Yes.
So Rhodes will let himself in and just be like, Elamaris, I actually had something that's been concerning me since I've been gone.
Oh, we have had many concerns. What is on your mind?
Can you still pray to Coralon? Is he responding to you?
I do pray to Coralon, but I no longer receive his boons.
Do you think he hears you?
That's not for me to know.
And are you still loyal to Coralon, or have you turned elsewhere?
There is nowhere else to turn.
This problem isn't isolated to Tezalora. Clerics all across the realm, they can't reach their gods. It's like they're disappearing or being locked away out of reach.
We have heard such stories from the people of Elliston nearby, yes.
What do you know of Dowreth and Sharrow?
Very little. No written works of theirs yet remain. I know them by name only, and that they were ancient gods that disappeared.
And of the Stormlord?
Again, an ancient god that has disappeared.
Understood. Now, if I told you I had reason to believe that they were no longer disappeared, that they were back, what would your thoughts be on that?
I do not know. I don't know enough about them to know if that would be a good thing or not.
For what it's worth, and for what I've seen out there in the world, I understand my yes. And Rhodes is maybe going to look a little guilty about that, considering who he's following now.
Uh-huh. He looks up at you and quirks an eyebrow and says, "Is there something else on your mind, Rhodes?"
No, that will be all. Thank you for your insight.
Very well, I'm sure you can find your way out again, despite the doors being sealed for the night.
That does get a characteristic smirk out of Rhodes at the very least, and he bows and gives his thanks and goes to depart to head back to the group.
Okay. Is anybody else doing anything in Thessalora?
Are there any shops here?
There are, but they're closed. You do still see that elves have gathered for nightly partying, dancing, drinking, feasting, all of those sorts of things.
No, thank you for Yaereene.
Aw, can't imagine why.
KTR is just like gone passed out. Like there's no way that he would be up and going into and trying to entertain.
No.
Gotcha.
Yaereene will just keep an eye on Tempus at the moment.
Just
Okay.
with Katira passed out, Yaereene keeping an eye on Tempus, and Rhodes off doing whatever. Ysmyr is probably, at least if this is like in the main area of the inn or whatever, might just go find a spot to sit and watch and listen just for the night.
Okay. Yeah, the pub area does fill up with people, and they're all drinking and chatting away. The main topics are of trade with Eliston, and trade routes being dangerous. With the there's a lot of mutterings about Corlin not answering prayers anymore, and a lot of uncertainty around that, and an undercurrent of fear. There's talks of gatherings and holidays, orcish invasions. That's pretty much the important topics that are discussed through the night.
Okay. Just keep it. She'll just listen and keep that all in mind for now. Just kind of have a night off in a way.
Sounds good. For their part, the elves don't come to try to get your attention or discuss anything with you. They leave you to your own.
Okay.
Question for you, if I may.
Sure.
I kind of find it hard to believe that the innkeeper would just allow Tempus to, be sitting in the tavern room, blindfolded and with irons on. Do they have me stashed away in like a stable stall or something?
No, they've a room was paid for you, so you are in a room. There are guards outside the door, and I believe Yaerene's in there, keeping you company as well.
Yaereene, would you ask one of the guards to step in for a moment, please?
She'll holler from where she's seated watching Tempus.
A guard enters.
He has to talk to you, sorry.
Sorry to trouble you. Would you be able to tell me, this town, does it have a chapter of the Explorers Guild in it?
There certainly are explorers who gather, but it's called the Wanderers Association.
Wanderers Association. But it's basically like the Explorers Guild.
I'm not familiar with an Explorers Guild, but the names do seem similar.
Tempus would like to flex against his chains and try to pop the manacles.
Give me an athletics check at disadvantage.
Can I rage and equal that out?
Of course you can.
Can we do initiative?
We'll give Tempus a surprise here, because I don't think anybody saw this coming.
No, I'm feeling surprised. I'm good with that.
You strain against the irons, and they do not pop. Yaereene, you are aware of Tempus heaving mightily at his bonds, as is the guard who draws steel and backs out of the room before closing the door.
Can I try and do non-lethal damage, like hit him with the flat of my sword to try and knock him out?
Sure.
Okay, I got a couple attacks. I'm gonna use them all.
Okay.
And I'm gonna shout, Tempus, stay still.
Okay. Tempus, what is your armor class?
I mean, it's a 13, but I do technically have the Cloak of Displacement.
Oh, yeah, roll again, Yaereene. That's a miss.
On my first attack. But my offhand will go next.
Okay.
Well, I mean, when she yells out, Tempest will start sitting still.
Yeah, you're getting attacked first, though.
Boo.
Sorry.
You had it coming.
You take a couple of swings, but hit nothing but air. His
I get my
body's...
last main attack, too. That was my offhand.
Okay.
No, nothing but air.
Okay. Nothing but air. You take 3 swings and tell Tempest to
She's
settle
much better
down.
with the bow, but she does not know how to do that without it going pokey into somebody.
Yeah, that's fair. Can't do non-lethal damage with a bow. Yeah, so you take a few swings, tell him to settle down, and Tempest, you said you're settling down?
Tempest will settle down and will say, Yaereene, what if my father is in this city?
Then we'll get Ysmyr to ask.
Oh, yeah, that's probably wise in these circumstances, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Well, would you tell the guards that I'm sorry and I got a little bit excited?
I'll call out to the guard that we're momentarily fine.
Okay. Let me know if he tries to cause any more trouble.
Will do. And she'll back up to sit not in Tempest's reach again.
All right. Anything else for anybody tonight?
I'm just snoring away.
I'll think of a question for you, Ryan, but I may need a moment.
Sure. Ysmyr, have you given Tempest back his ring yet?
I don't think we had a chance, but she probably would have. Maybe when we got him set up in the room, been like, "Oh, and Maddie had me give this back," and she'll just like, "Your ring's in your bag."
To be fair, your cousin earned it fair and square.
She said he's too young.
Well, far be it from me to tell you how to raise your, I don't know, dragonling, but, whatever. Thanks for the ring back.
Maybe in a few years you can make it up to him.
Shrug.